Hey everybody, Leo Honeycutt here with more people and places here in the greater Baton Rouge area. One of my favorite folks is with us today, Jim Brown, James H. Jim Brown. You might remember him as a state senator or former secretary of state, former insurance commissioner, and now author again. Jim, it's good to see you.
Well,
I'm not going to shake any hands.
That's right.
Don't worry about the virus. So, My Louisiana Odyssey.
Well, Leo, I've been in public life for 28 years. I've had a publishing company, done a variety of things, and met some really interesting people.
You have.
And I kind of considered myself, in my own mind at least, the state's historian. I built the state archives on Essen Lane. I've taught Louisiana history at both Tulane and LSU. And so in that time, I met some really interesting people. And so I said, let me put this down. Let me write a memoir, not about me so much, about some of the interesting Louisianians that I've come across. And of course, in politics, having been in politics, governors, so many other public officials. I told stories about Jimmy Davis, the governor, John McKithen, Edwin Edwards, on and on. But also in other fields. Because you pick the field, and we are very exceptional here in the state. Music,
Food.
That's right.
Did I mention food?
That's right. That's right. And I've talked about music, food, art.
You know, come to think about it, you were one of the first people with a cookbook.
I wrote Jim Brown's world famous
Yeah.
squirrel stew and other country recipes. Sold about 25,000 cookbooks
Yeah.
in Louisiana. Everybody loves to collect cookbooks. You may not read another book, but you like cookbooks. And so that was a real popular book that I wrote. And I've written books about the state, my columns, run-ins in the legal system, and my latest book is a kind of a remembrance of all those special events. Mm-hmm. I mentioned George Rodrigue, the great Blue Dog author,
yeah.
Paul Prudhomme, the great chef. So many people like that. Here in Baton Rouge, I talked a lot about the Catholic Church, Father Cleo Milano, and other interesting, exceptional Catholics that have done so much for our community. So it was a fun book. I've been on a book tour throughout the state. I've got a number of signings coming up. I hope they don't get dampened by the present virus problem.
But right now you're on schedule for New Roads Rotary Club Wednesday.
Next Wednesday I'll be there. I'll be at the Baton Rouge Public Library at Independence Park on Thursday at 10:30.
So you're at the main library in Baton Rouge the Thursday.
That's right.
Okay.
And then I'll be on, continuing around the state. I've probably spoken to 40 Rotary clubs. I didn't know there's that many in the state. A number of Kiwanis clubs, talking about my memoir. And also, it's twofold. Yes, I want to sell my book.
Sure.
And I hope people will go buy My Louisiana Odyssey. But I also want to encourage people to get their own memoirs together, to maybe keep a diary. I help people publish maybe 50 copies of a book, Leo, not to sell, but to give to their grandkids and great-grandkids.
Leave a legacy for the grandkids to know who they are.
That's right. So
you're right. That's a really smart idea. I like that.
we all have interesting stories to tell.
In fact, you and I both being authors, we're always inundated with people who say, hey, I got a really good book for you. And, you know, sometimes you just need to write that book yourself.
Exactly right. And I said, get out a big yellow pad of paper and just start writing, and you'd be amazing what we come up with. So My Louisiana Odyssey, if you're interested, you can find it at jimbrownla.com, which is my website, and the bookstores all carry it. And so any event, it's been a real labor of love, and I've sure enjoyed it.
All right, well, you can find that book. That's My Louisiana Odyssey by Jim Brown, James H. Jim Brown. That's jimbrownla.com, the website there, and I can tell you it's a really good book. I've had a chance not just to read it, but to write a little bit thing for it too, so good to see you again. All right, we're going to have more people and places for you after this.
Good little segment.